All right, so here's what I was thinking. I want you to give me 5 dream fights. They can be fights that are impossible to make, but would just be really cool to watch. Like, retired fighter versus current fighter, two people in two different weight classes, whatever. It could be a match that we can see that you just want to see. It could be a legacy fight, whatever.
Well, how about you start off and give me an example?
There's this highly anticipated like rematch between John Jones and his wife. That would be in my top 5. Stuff like that. Just fights that won't necessarily happen, but could or could not. It doesn't matter. But just, I would like to see that rematch. So give me one of yours now. Are you thinking hard?
So, Brad, give me an example of what you mean.
For example, Anderson Silva and GSP.
If I was gonna do a current day fighter versus not even a legend, but I want to see Francis Ngannou versus Brock Lesnar, and I want to see how that plays out, because nobody was as big as what Francis is back then. So I think he would give Brock a challenge. I really do.
Oh yeah, I think he would destroy Brock Lesnar, to be honest. But
Prime
it would be
Brock.
really cool to watch. It would be really cool to watch. No, I think that'd be cool. Like one of mine again is going to be Anderson Silva and GSP. They
Yeah.
were like the goats for a long time and still are really. And to see them, come together and you have that striking and then the wrestling from GSP. I mean, it would be an amazing fight to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you take them both in their prime, which for
Sure.
GSP could literally be any time, probably right now. You know,
He's only 40, isn't he? He's not even that old.
and he looks like he's 28.
I mean,
He even
with
got
that
his hair.
hair, it's
Yeah,
weird.
he even got hair now.
I think a fight I really want to see. Actually, I want to see John Jones versus.
USADA. That would be a crazy matchup. John Jones was winning for a long time, lost a couple. I think the last outing they've had that he actually lost that round, or that fight. So I think them coming back would be an amazing rematch. See if John
Okay.
Jones can take it again.
No,
I think USADA's got the leg up though.
but for real though, John Jones versus.
I would say probably if we're going to go against anything, John Jones versus those 5 cops because he said, "I want to see how many of you guys I can take," and that fight never got put on like we were expecting. I want to see it. We already know he beat his car up, so yeah, those 5 cops. Just see how they fare. Put them in the ring. John Jones being John Jones, probably throw a lot of elbows. Cops have a leg up on that one maybe because they have weapons, but I think you could take them again.
Okay. But on the serious note, like for real though, for real, John Jones versus.
Probably John Jones versus the state of Nevada. I think would be the perfect matchup. State of Nevada is actually undefeated against John Jones right now, and I would like to see him on an outing where he could possibly win it. I think if he had the right game plan, the right training camp, he could come in that level-headed and probably take it.
He just won actually. He just won a case against Nevada. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, he pleaded, so he basically gave up there. He tapped.
but I would like to see prime John Jones versus Mirko Cro Cop. Just like prime. Both in their prime. I think that'd be interesting.
It'd be a fun fight. I don't think that John Jones' technical ability would have him outclass Crow Cop, but I don't think Crow Cop would last 5 rounds with him.
No, sure.
But it'd be a
He
cool
had some
atmosphere to
dangerous
watch.
kicks, man. He had some really
They did.
dangerous kicks.
Yep. John Jones throw a couple of them oblique kicks and he'd be good to go.
Or an eye poke.
Yeah, a couple. But yeah, I think one match that I think would be awesome, which would never possibly happen, but Nick Diaz versus Nate Diaz.
I think that's happened for 30 years and we just haven't known about it.
Oh,
You know what
sure.
I mean?
I
Like
would like
all
to
the
watch.
time. That's kind of funny though.
It's just straight boxing. All of them. They're lasting all 5 rounds. Imagine how fucked up they would both be at the end of it. It would be just a fantastic fight.
What about this is a fight at this point we're gonna give more than 5. What about this is a fight I always wanted to see, and at one point there's rumored to have happened. It was boxing, but I want to see in the UFC. But Dana White versus Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Dana White might win that.
He'd win now. I think he'd win
And
now.
I think he probably. Tito Ortiz has never been a boxer. If it was strictly boxing, given we've never really seen Dana White box, but knowing that he was a boxing trainer for a long time and then a boxing promoter, uh, he's never really stopped the boxing side of it. So I mean, probably even Prime could have boxed him, you know.
Maybe, I think so.
Another kind of matchup that would be really cool to me has always been Wonder Boy versus Machida.
That's interesting. Two karate guys.
Straight karate, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be super interesting. A little bit
Because
different in weight class.
yeah, well, but it don't. I'm just saying they're them two styles. Like
No,
doesn't
for
matter
sure.
what weight. If they're both the same weight,
Meet
same
meet at
size,
middleweight. Meet them
yeah.
at middleweight.
Um, just to see how that would take place, just because it would be just a kickboxing match, or not kickboxing, but a karate match, except with an actual finish. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because one of those guys would probably get knocked out.
I think Wonder Boy was just a better is just a better fighter in the MMA style, right? Like he uses his karate, but in such a good way where he's able to defend takedowns. He keeps a distance where he can get you with the strikes. I feel like he didn't have that, right?
Another one that I would love to see is, again, exclude weight classes, all that. Demetrius Johnson, prime against champion,
Any champion in any weight class.
any champion, any weight class.
Okay.
I mean, if everybody was the same size, again, it doesn't
Brock
exclude size.
Lesnar back in the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, but think about like his technical ability and what he did. Could he have beat someone let's say you put a fucking bantamweight out there, featherweight, whichever, that has the same exact skill, everything as John Jones. Could he beat Demetrius Johnson? I would say no. And I think that you could say that about any of those champions. In his run, I don't think he was getting beat by any of them.
I mean, I feel like I could say GSP and make a good argument there.
I think he would probably be the closest.
You know, um, outside of that, I can't really say any fighter that I know that could get down to if he was in that weight class. You know, um,
No, I'm not saying cut to the weight class. I'm saying,
no, I understand
yeah, if
their
there was
ability. I'm
fighter
basically
with his
saying their ability in that weight class is basically what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah, same
Um,
skill.
because I think it's a little bit different if you take Mighty Mouse's ability and you put him in a different weight class. Um, like say heavyweight, right? It's just different. It's like a
Yeah, he would destroy, he would dominate. If someone had the technical ability as Mighty Mouse in heavyweight, they would fucking dominate. It wouldn't even be close.
Well, yeah,
And
you're right.
that's kind of my point. I don't like. I just think that he was kind of. I know GSP. I think is the greatest of all time, but I think he's a second, and I think I would give it just the greatest of all time. Just the challenges.
I would like to see, and obviously we never will, but I would like to see what Habib could have done against these greats, right? If his wrestling could have outclassed how good their skill was.
That's honestly one of the ones too. A dream fight with me, and not even something that would be unrealistic, other than Khabib being retired, is Khabib versus Oliveira.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that. Because Khabib ain't knocking Oliveira out.
No.
You know, he's going to try to take him down. And Oliveira, we both know. I mean, he's dangerous on the feet and on the ground. And even though Khabib would get him to the ground, Oliveira is tough on his back.
Yeah.
So I just think that would be a fight that it's a shame, because it should be a fight that happens.
Yeah.
But
I agree. No, we'll never see it. And I think we could name like probably sit here and name 10 fights that we wish Habib could fight in, but we'll never see it, So it really doesn't even matter to talk about most of those.